What's up, everybody? I'm Scott to Liquid Kernedge, the second episode of a two-part series with executive producer Tom.
We had a cliffhanger last week.
I don't know if we did, man. It was Tom busting my balls on doing CrossFit and then busted on you for everything.
Everything.
I mean, is your self-esteem restored? Is the question.
The only thing that's saving me right now is that I am probably about 5 Mai Tais into a warm, cool night, coming off of Grand Cayman or wherever we're at tonight. I'm coming back on the boat to chill after a long day.
Well, you can go fuck yourself and put your phone on vibrate.
You would enjoy that too much.
Well, see, once again, I take full responsibility for having a good time. So,
and there's nothing wrong with that. We appreciate that. So,
that's right. That's right.
In last week's episode, we were talking about just a bunch of random things. Tom joined us for the show. It was a quality bullshit session. But Tom had mentioned Country Thunder and how he attended. And a few weeks back, we talked about our most influential albums, probably around the first of the year. We were talking about our most influential albums that have really affected us as individuals. And I thought this would be a good time to discuss music with Tom, because Tom has a very wide range of musical tastes, if it were.
Okay.
Tom, what are
ready.
your most influential albums?
Oh, gosh. My most influential albums?
Yeah.
Top 3 are going to be Johnny Cash, The American Four, Tool's Anima, and Soundgarden, Super Unknown.
Those are all very much Tool and Soundgarden are very much the same genre, very much alternative. And I'm glad you called that Anima, because for years I've just thought it was Enema.
Yeah,
fair enough. Silent.
It's not really an A. It's this weird, strange typographic character. I don't understand it. It's amazing. I still listen to it today, and it's still amazing. Yeah.
So would you say that's an album that you never get tired of? Like, no matter what, you can turn it on. Like, yeah, I like this.
So I had a Toyota Tacoma from 2005 to 2014. And I had 5 CDs in it. 4 of them were Tool CDs, and one of those CDs was Anima, and it was on constant repeat. So I think the answer to that is yes.
See, for me, it's still Def Leppard's Vault or Limp Bizkit's Significant Other. Those are 2 I just never get tired of. They just put me in that different zone. Jason, what were yours? Some of yours?
AC/DC Back in Black. I don't think we really need to go into why that was.
You go back and check that episode out.
If you have to go back and listen.
Yeah.
And then obviously Journey's Greatest Hits. And then, I'm trying to think of another one. I can't even remember what I came up with. So, you guys are a little different than me. Music has never been that big of a... Oh, I know what it was. James Taylor's Greatest Hits.
Oh, music's always been a big part of my life. Yeah. And so it's like going to concerts. And I thought this week we can talk about some of the better concerts we've seen, some of the most influential concerts we've seen as people, because as you grow, so do your musical tastes. And I'll be honest, my first concert, our parents took us to Eddie Money at the AZ State Fair when we were kids. Do you remember that, Tom?
Oh, God, my ears hurt for weeks after that.
Yeah.
I got 2 tickets
now, on
to
a side
paradise.
Note, on a side note,
grab your bags and leave.
Tom was a very antisocial child. Not that much has changed in his now 40s. It's he didn't want to go anywhere or do anything. So he wanted to go ride the rides of the fair. And I'll admit, I was a little annoyed, too, that we had to go see Eddie Money back in the day, because that took away from a lot of the rides that we were going to go do on that. But that was my first concert. And Tom, I think that was yours, too, wasn't it?
I actually don't consider that my first concert, because I had no choice in the matter, because Mom and Dad wanted to see it, and we left halfway through, maybe not even halfway through.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, we left early. We left really early on that one. Like I actually consider, and it pains me to say this, I actually consider my first concert to be Tempe Mill Avenue 2001 Crazy Town.
That was your first? That was 2001, yeah.
Yeah, that was my first legitimate,
Oh, we should have gone to Hootie and the Blowfish for the record on that. Okay, that was our bad.
Well, you did make it up, because for my birthday that year, you did pay for Collective Soul, which was objectively a actually really good show.
Oh yeah, that was a good show. It was a Gammage,
yeah, because the acoustics in Gammage, and I've seen a couple of shows in Gammage since then, and the acoustics in Gammage are amazing.
Yeah. So before we go any deeper into it, I want you guys that are out there listening, tell us about your favorite concert that you've seen on Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram, all at Liquid Kernedge, or tweet at Tom at liquid_EP. And this week we're talking about our favorite shows we've seen live. So Jason, what about you? What was your first concert you remember seeing?
My first concert I ever went to was Steve Miller Band. I was one of 3 people that was not stoned. It was a pretty good concert. It was pretty good. But then I followed it 2 days later and saw Dire Straits. Man. And I had to admit that the Dire Straits was really good. The lead guitar guy, the main singer, Mark Knopfler, thank you. He's an amazing artist. I mean, I'm just gonna put that out there. Have you ever see him live in concert? Like, he takes the guitar solos on Money for Nothing, and it was like 10 minutes of him just riffing on Money for Nothing, and he's amazing. He was really good. I really enjoyed the music of Steve Miller, but I enjoyed the artistry of Dire Straits.
What about you, Tom? What would you say like your most influential concert you've seen? That's like, yes, that's like the best show I've ever seen. Or who puts on a good show?
You know, that's a really good question, because I've seen a couple of shows that I expected to be good and they were amazing, and others when I walked in I'm like, yeah, whatever, and it was, oh damn. Probably. So I mean, it's going to be 2 parts for this one. So like, walked in expecting a good show, but was completely just had my socks blown off. Metallica.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
I'd love.
Oh really? Okay.
So absolutely it was, oh my gosh, it was like $200 a ticket, and I was to the side of the stage. It was really bad seats, and it was still amazing. If you ever get the chance to see Metallica live, don't ask, just shut up and give them your money.
I would like to do that. Next time they tour, let me know, and I'll go with you. That would be fantastic.
They pretty much tour constantly anymore. And then the other show that I was really surprised, there's a venue in Phoenix called the Crescent Ballroom, holds maybe 300 people.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a band that was coming through called Highly Suspect. So the girl I was dating at the time, and I
have their stuff on my iPod.
And it's pretty good on an album, and I'm like, it's like a new band, because you never quite know on a new band how it's going to be. And so it was a good room in terms of energy from the crowd, but the guy, I don't know how to describe it other than, if the guy could have had sex with the room, he would have. It was just like he had control over the entire room. It was a siren song for an hour and a half, 2 hours. It was objectively probably the best show I have seen, period.
Is the Crescent Ballroom in downtown Phoenix?
Yeah, it's in downtown, like on Washington and First Ave.
I think I saw POD and the Cottonmouth Kings there when I was in college. And you're right, that's a great venue.
Little Mexican restaurant out front?
I think so.
Yeah, that's Crescent Ballroom.
Do you guys think that it makes a difference if it's a crowd of 20,000 or an intimate view of 300? Is there one that you prefer more than another?
It depends on the show. Because I've seen, well, I was with you. When we saw Garth Brooks when he was doing his one-man show, we were in the second row. And that was brilliant.
Yeah, we were.
Like, there was a very close, like 300 people in that auditorium, and it was amazing. And I can't compare that to a stadium tour, but I heard he makes that stadium tour feel very intimate as well. So to me, I think it depends on who the artist is. And if the artist can really control a room, it doesn't matter the size. They make you feel like you're right there.
You see, now I actually think it's the crowd. So I'll use this for comparison. So I mentioned earlier that Tool's Anima was one of my defining albums.
Mm-hmm.
So I've seen Tool 5 times now. 3 times in Phoenix and once I've traveled. So the last time I saw him in Phoenix was at a festival at Tempe Beach Park, where there was some Halloween music festival, whatever. And they hadn't rehearsed, they hadn't practiced, and they were like the headliner for the night. And they were just kind of there, and it was meh, whatever. So, I mean, the show was good, but it was like, it wasn't as good as it had been in previous shows.
Yeah.
You flash forward or flash back to shows on either side when they were practiced and they were with it. The crowd was into it, and the energy in the crowd it's like a feedback loop. It feeds the band does more, and then it just kind of goes into it. Like the last time I saw him was up in Washington, and that was at an outdoor amphitheater, and it's the sun setting, and it's just a building crescendo all evening.
Yeah.
And then they close it, and it's like, oh my God, it was amazing.
Yeah, and to build off of that, I remember when Aaron Lewis, the lead singer, Stained. He's also a very well-received country singer now. When he's not touring with Stained, he does a one-man show, and he came through Laughlin a few years back. And Jason, you skipped this one, and he went gambling that one.
I went gambling.
Joke for us for years, but he was amazing. He sat down with himself and a guitar in Laughlin and said, "All right, what do you guys want to hear? I could play anything." And he literally played anything for 2 hours, and it was amazing. And a year and a half later, we saw them at UFest down in Phoenix with Stained, and I'm a big Stained fan. And I was so disappointed. You were there that night, Tom. That I was so disappointed because the feedback from Stained, and they just sounded off, and like they were just there, you know.
Was that the one where we all were like, oh, whatever, Chevelle, and we're like, damn, Chevelle can put on a show?
Yeah, it was UFest. Like Chevelle, like that's the first time Chevelle was like, damn, those guys brought it.
Yeah.
And then Stained was like, damn, you should have brought it. And then Godsmack. Sully Erna of Godsmack is by far one of my favorite performers, and I'm so excited that Godsmack and Shinedown, because Shinedown is my favorite band, are touring together this summer, and we bought tickets for their Vegas show in August already, and I can't wait because watching Sully Erna on that stage, that dude's he's maybe shorter than you, Jason. He's like 5'5", 5'6", and that little man. That little man controlled that stage, and he controlled that audience, and you were so energetic into it. You could not wait for that next song. I mean, it was just, and it's a heavy metal show, but my God, did they bring it. And it was the coolest feeling in the world just to watch them just go back and forth. And for the past 6 years, I've seen some great shows, but I still go back to that show as that's the band that I would pay good money to see again.
I think that any show or any concert, one of the things that I always look for is, because in a studio, when you hear a song on the radio or hear a song on a CD, it's, they can put refinements in there and they can change the, vocals with different modulations. But when you can see a band live and not only do they play, but they actually better than they do sound in on a studio album, that's hard to see. That's hard to do. I mean, and there's so many artists that you hear their music, it's so great, and then you go to their concert and it's like,
and another great example, just like who brings it really well on albums, but then on the stage as well. I saw Shinedown a year and a half ago when they were touring with Five Finger Death Punch, and like I said, they were just turning into my favorite band at that point, and I was expecting a good show, but I was literally blown away by how good they sounded, how refined they sounded. And the lead singer, Brent Smith, and the head lead guitarist, Zach Myers, do their own acoustic stuff on the side called Smith and Myers. And they did a set of just acoustic songs on there. And it showed how diverse they were. And it was just kind of cool to see them step out of their comfort zone. Well, I guess it would be their comfort zone, but kind of step outside of the box you're expecting and really just, give you another element to what they do. But what about you, Jason? Like, what have you seen that's like blown you away?
It's gonna sound so lame, dude, and I'm sorry to both of you, but Celine Dion blew me away of how powerful her vocals were. I mean, think whatever you want about I'm the greatest singer in the world, but she put on a concert for 2.5 hours. And her catalog of songs are kind of tough because she's got a lot of those you have to really belt out, and she brought it, man. I was impressed. That was a good concert. I was impressed with just the vocals, and the only problem with that concert is you can't get really pumped up for that kind of concert. You know what I mean? Like it's not like oh yeah, it's more of a sit back and kind of go foo drinks on. So I think there needs to be a distinction between a concert that you expect to just kind of sit back and enjoy the music versus a concert where I expect to get up, I expect the music to hit me like a ton of bricks and really jam me. Bon Jovi played for 4 hours.
Wow.
When we went to one of their concerts, they had 5 encores.
That's a long time. I give them props. Yeah. You definitely get your money's worth for that. What's been the most insane thing you've seen in a concert though? Like that major jaw drop either in the crowd or in the on stage?
Just recently, Demi Lovato started making out with some girl on the stage.
I'm not sure.
One of her dancers was like, I don't remember what song she was singing, but one of the songs she was singing was about love or something, and she just started making out with like her dancer, like just make out. I was like, damn, girl.
Impressive. What about you, Tom?
Oh, I like making girls making out on shit.
I think it was 2015, somewhere near the last Foo Fighters tour where Dave Grohl broke his leg.
Mm-hmm.
And so they built the throne for Dave to come out on stage and still perform. A, did not affect his singing at all. B, he still shredded. C, damn fine show. D, Jewel came out and sang Whole Lotta Love with Dave Grohl, and Whole Lotta Love is like my third favorite Led Zeppelin song.
Wow.
And Jewel, by the way, has a pair of pipes on her as well.
Yeah.
She can belt it.
Yeah.
I'll say for me that there's two instances that really stand out to me. And one was back at a festival called That Damn Show back in 1999. It was like one of the first concerts I got to go to when I was in college. And all my college friends, Bruce was with us that day. It was Kid Rock, Powerman 5000, System of a Down, like 18 bands in like 12 hours. And we wanted to get up front for Powerman 5000 because that's when Worlds Collide came out. Supernova was a great album. It was huge. And it was September in Peoria, the middle of monsoon season. It was fucking hot. And there's a monsoon building over the horizon. And I'll never forget, man, it was myself, Bruce, our buddy Matt, then our friends Holly and Eve. So it was the five of us. And we get to the front of the stage, and Spider comes out, and all the guys from Powerman 5000, and they've got these suits on that whenever they hit the chord, like neon lights would light up on there. So it was really badass with the monsoon lightning in the background. And I remember, I'll never forget, man, we weren't aware of what happened at a rock show at that level because we were young and dumb. They hit that first power chord, and we look back, and you can see like that wave of moshing just starting, and it was coming straight for us, and people just started getting nuts. So it was all we could do to link arms and just try to get through it. And we kept, getting put into the mosh pits, and those pits, those circles that form where you jump around in a circle and try to bash each other. We kept getting thrown into those, and we watched the rest of the show, and even Kid Rock in the very back of of the audience because we were just done after that. That was a huge learning experience. But then a few years later, when I was in college, Tom, you were with me at this show. Stone Temple Pilots was at the AZ State Fair when Weiland, right before he got fired the first or second time. I can't remember.
I think he'd just gotten back on the smack.
He just might have gotten back on the smack. And we're on the side of the stage. We didn't pay. We went to the free side. And he's playing Cracker Man. And Cracker Man's this really fast-paced song that he sings through a megaphone into a microphone. And in the middle of the show, this dude moshing breaks his leg. And Weiland sees it, and he stops the entire show and like clears people out and directs the EMTs right to where this kid is. It stops the show for probably, 20 minutes?
Yeah, I think it was closer to 15, but it was enough to kill the energy in the room.
Yeah, 15, 20 minutes. And they got the guy out, and I will never forget, man, they picked up on the very note they left off on, and that energy was back in that room, man. And it was just one of those, that's a rock star moment. That is one of those moments that just blows you away. And it was really fucking cool. And and on top of that, when I saw Five Finger a few years ago, just one more quick story, they're very much a heavy metal mosh pit band. And they're still one of my favorite bands, but in the show, the lead singer goes, all right, I want all the kids to come up to the stage. I want to take a picture with the kids. So all the kids should come up and just, get away from the stage and come up here and I'll take a picture with you. And he's a very moody guy. Very just gruff looking and very just scary looking. You know the type?
Yeah, the steroids.
Yeah. But he's a very small man too. Very small and steroids, just angry. And it was a very sweet moment where it's like he's taking pictures with the kids. Like, come on, here's your dad. And you look at it, and he's got all these kids on the stage, and he turns around to the crowd and he's like, all right, form a circle. This next song's called Burn, Motherfucker, Burn. I need everybody to dance. And you realize, holy shit, he got kids out for their own safety. We're all going to die. And it was just one of those, shit moments, but it was so freaking cool.
Timmy, we got some bad news. Your mom and dad died at the mosh pit at the Five Finger concert. The good news is Ivan Moody is now your dad.
Exactly. You're going on tour. You better learn to be a roadie, kid. But it was just one of those cool moments. Like, wow, this guy's really not as mean as he looks. Like, oh fuck, he's gonna kill us all. And it was just one of those cool moments, and it really humanizes the band and the music for you. And I think that's what I really like about seeing a live show is it gives you a different element because you can listen all you want on your iPods, on Pandora, on Spotify, whatever you listen to on your platforms these days. But it really doesn't get across the energy that you get when you see music live.
Tom, who do you wish you would have seen that won't get a chance to?
Yeah. Tom Petty.
Oh, there's another one, Tom Petty. And probably right up there in that same list is going to be Johnny Cash, because I did not appreciate Johnny Cash until he was already gone.
I'd love to have seen Prince. I think Prince would have been badass.
I don't know. I didn't get into his music as much as a lot of people did. I mean, he had some good music.
You're about to get a throat punch. Just stop where you're at. Prince is a god. Just
walk away. That dude can wail, man.
Oh God, the dude. I didn't say he couldn't play. I'm just saying I'd rather go see other dead people.
He literally owns the color purple.
That's all.
He literally owns the color purple.
Jason, just let your heart go on and sit back and listen to some more Celine Dion.
Oh man! Oh God! Those are Celine Dion burns. Nicely executed. Wow. Who out there do you want to see that's still alive? Before they stop touring. Because I would love to see Sir Elton John before he stops. He retires next October.
Yeah. I was going to say, I think he's almost done.
So if you don't catch him now, you'll never catch him again. Unless he's like Kiss, where they're on their 10th retirement tour.
God, I'm trying to think of someone that I would want to see that I haven't seen that I wish I had seen. Because all the people I would have wanted to see are already gone. They're dead.
And really anymore, it's between all the big stars. They tour in all the major concert. Phoenix, Vegas. Those are staples. I'd like to see Foo Fighters. I was jealous when Tom sent me those videos. I'm a big Dave Grohl fan.
Rammstein. That's who I want to see because they're getting up there in age. And they only come to North America once every 5 to 10 years. They were in Vegas. So they were in Vegas on a one-off show last summer. And I looked at buying tickets and flying up to Vegas. And it was my usual, I don't $300 plus how much ever the tickets were, like Rammstein. So they've got a concert film on iTunes, and you can probably find them on YouTube and whatever. But it's just big theatrical German, and they sing in German metal, and it's like, okay, that's a show you need to see live because you kind of get the impression with the videos, but to see it live, that's one that's like, I would travel to see that.
Do you ever listen to Volbeat, Tom?
I do. I don't care for them.
Really?
Yeah.
They're one of those bands that I hear them, I just get amped, man. It's hard not to get excited and really dive deeper into.
Yeah, it's kind of. It's kind of like, it's there. It's kind of like background music. I really don't find a lot of pleasure in that high BPM music anymore, like I used to. In the last 4 or 5 years, I got turned. It's been like Muddy Waters and a lot of blues.
Yeah, have you listened to Gary Clark Jr.?
I have.
I enjoy him.
And it's stuff like that. Like on Saturday mornings when I'm working on homework for my degree, that's what's on in the background on my speakers in the house is Gary Clark Jr., Black Keys, Muddy Waters, things of that nature. Yeah. And that's just what's playing on Pandora. I mean, that's really what kind of puts me in the zone these days.
See, when I cook, I listen to Frank Sinatra, and I wish I could have seen him in his prime. Of course, his prime is back in the 50s and 60s.
Yeah. No, the Rat Pack would have been badass to see those guys crooning like that.
I think that's a lost art. Crooning today isn't really – now you get Michael Bublé, so you get made fun of because he's not really taken seriously for the most part.
Oh, hold on.
What are you talking about?
There's serious. Scott, there's only one crooner, and it is Richard Cheese.
Oh, Richard Cheese is a very good crooner, guys. Lounge Against the Machine, one of the most influential albums.
Yes,
of the comedy genre.
Oh God!
I just
oh,
like
God.
back in the day though, like the Rat Pack and like Sinatra, those crooners were, man, they set the bar. They were the most popular, singers in the world, and they had a show in Vegas because they had another party in Vegas.
Well, and last week we talked about that I was watching Mad Men
2 weeks ago,
and that kind of music was that. Yeah, 2 weeks ago. What did I say last week? 2 weeks ago. Yeah, I see. I have so many of now. I'm getting totally thrown off. But that's the kind of music they played during that time. That kind of smooth, bebop, boop, bop, doo, yeah, like all that stuff. Then again, I wouldn't mind seeing Jimi Hendrix,
God, he'd
man,
be cool.
like being stoned out of my gourd and just listening to Jimi Hendrix. Just kind of be stoned with me and play.
Yeah, that'd been fun.
Have you ever been off your rocker at a concert so you can get the real vibe of the music?
No, I always have to drive.
Yeah. Either I got to drive back afterward, or I got something going on early the next day. It's one of those funky.
Well, because they say that some of those like ecstasy and stuff is when you can really get a full appreciation of the music, as long as the beat keeps going.
Jason, have you met our father?
Yes.
Yeah. Drugs weren't really a.
Yeah, drugs are bad. Okay.
I thought you guys would have been like rebellious, like screw it, Dad. I'm gonna do exactly.
No, see, the problem is though, our dad was a highway patrolman, our mom was an ER nurse, so they just scared the shit out of us the entire time.
You didn't even need to go see the Reefer Madness because they just it was live and you could just go through Reefer Madness.
No, because they would have gotten the heads up that we were going, and they would have intercepted us on the way, and then it would have been a shaming and then screaming in the middle of a public restaurant for 30 minutes. Scott, do you remember the 5 times that happened, Scott?
Oh yeah, absolutely. The funny part is with them, is now that they're retired, Dad is still very much no, but Mom's like, you know what? Yeah, if we don't have anywhere else to go and have to drive, it's offered to me. Why not? So it's funny how much more liberal. Of course, she's always been pretty liberal. They become as they get older. God forbid they ever listen to the show. I'm not sure I could handle it if I had to listen to their notes on the show.
What's an anal nitrate count?
Exactly. Yeah. The other day I was at my parents' house, dropping off something, and my mom goes, "Hey, you want to see my lightning rod?" Oh wait, that doesn't sound right. I said that's a pickup line I've used once or twice. So I'd prefer if you don't use it on me. And she was sincere, man. She found a lightning rod, and she wanted to show it, that she found this copper lightning rod and what she did to decorate it. But she's got that pretty quick sense of humor. But it's just, I don't think I want them. I would never cross them on something like this.
Now, Tom, tell me a little bit about this, though, because last week or 2 weeks ago you went to Country Thunder. You're not really a big country fan. Did you still enjoy the music?
Actually, surprisingly, yes, I did. So the way Country Thunder is set up is there's camping all around it, and then they start playing music at about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and it goes till midnight. To actually look at the stage, and you can go into the stage area and take a lawn chair with you, and you can sit down. You can just sit down and listen to country music all day long and pay $8 a beer. Or you can be like me and sit on the outside of the fence, down the road from the camper and your private porta-john, and bring your 30-pack of beer with you and sit at the end of the road and listen to the music just as well. So that helps with country. Number one, alcohol.
So who was you're there for 4 or 5 days. Who was your favorite band, or who surprised you the most?
So Big and Rich was one that I'd actually heard of, and it's like they put on a pretty good show, but it was like nothing spectacular. The one that really surprised me was Thursday night, I think. Yeah, it was because I actually went into the concert venue just to check it out, and there's some stories there for another podcast. But Tracy Lawrence, who was just before Jason Aldean. I left before Jason Aldean played. But Tracy Lawrence was there. So Tracy Lawrence was like, God, why do I know this name? And our cousin from Tucson, who's actually into country and actually likes country music, she's like, oh, this was at Brian and Suzette's wedding. This was this. He's like, oh, okay. So one of the songs he played was the dance that another cousin and her husband of 20 plus years now danced at their wedding, which was the last time family drama cousins from one side of the family were all together.
Let's stay on point here. Let's stay on point here.
But that was probably like, oh wow, okay. But really, just kind of the entire experience surprised me how much I enjoyed it.
Did Chris Stapleton play there by chance?
No, Luke Bryant did.
Yeah, Luke Bryant's great and all, but oh god, Chris Stapleton's one of those right now that are really. He was just in Laughlin a few weeks ago, and I have his stuff. And he's. You said you listen to Muddy Waters, and Gary Clark Jr. Tom. If you haven't listened to Chris Stapleton, he's very much an old school Johnny Cash meets Gary Clark Jr. Just smooth, bluesy, like a dark bar type music. And
so okay,
and
so not to derail you and keep it on point, but we're coming up at the end of our time here, and I want to be respectful of our listeners' time, gentlemen.
Mm-hmm.
Show that you were most looking forward to and you were actually disappointed in.
Mine's easy.
Demi
My
Lovato?
mom. No. Oh, she was amazing. No, my mom is a huge Adam Lambert fan, and Adam Lambert's touring the Queen, and I was so looking forward to the Queen concert, and not because Adam Lambert didn't do an amazing job, but the show, and maybe because these guys are in their 70s now, maybe they just couldn't rock like what I expected. But I was really disappointed. I was kind of thinking it was going to be one of these concerts where from the start to finish, you're just playing their entire catalog, you're singing every song. But they had so many, like, they get the crowd pumped up, and then they, like, do a guitar solo for 10 minutes, and you just kind of fall back down, and you get the, it had no continuity to it at all.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Tom?
Toby Keith, which was actually just a Country Thunder. It just like, it's
no
like,
kidding.
He was, and again, I had been drinking all day. He was the headliner for that night, but it was like, there wasn't a lot of emotion, and he's got a couple of like really good, the flag starts waving behind your head when you listen to some of his songs, and it's like, no, not feeling it. And I don't know if it was an off night or what.
You had one of his songs as my ringtone for years. Ain't as good as I once was.
Ain't as good as it once was. Actually, it was your ringback tone when that was a thing.
Yeah, my ringback tone. Yeah, thanks for doing that.
No problem.
Mine, I would go back to and say was probably Stained.
Fair.
I really like at the time, like Break the Cycle is one of my most influential albums. Period. I love those guys, and for them to be so disappointing, it was kind of heartbreaking. But thank God, Godsmack and Chevelle made up for it. But I was so disappointed in that. So. Yeah. With that being said, tell us your thoughts. What's your best concert? Your biggest letdown in concerts? Tell us your thoughts on live music in general, because I love listening to it. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all at Liquid Kernedge. If you tell Tom your thoughts, Liquid _
or maybe
EP.
not.
Tom, we appreciate, or maybe not. Or if you just want to say hi to Tom, Liquid _ EP. He's got an Instagram. He's got a Twitter. I'm sure Facebook is coming if it's not already published yet. He is just slowly getting on board with this. So thank you guys for listening today. Tom, thank you so much for being on the show. As always, you're welcome on here whenever you want. We'll quit harassing you so much now that you've done back-to-back episodes. Jason, why don't you take us home?
All right. Well, I have to thank the executive producer. You gave us 2 great shows. We really appreciate you. I'll be back next week live in studio, so we'll have us back to a normal recording. And next week's episode will be our 52nd episode, which means
it's our 1-year anniversary.
It is. Well, it's the end of it. No, because the 1-year anniversary would be the 53rd week.
Oh, that's true.
So yeah, but this will be the last of the year, and we made it a year, buddy. We did it.
That means we have to plan a big show for Liquid Kernedge Season 2, Episode 1.
I like it.
We got to get cracking on that. We need like an all-star retrospective. All this cool stuff has to happen. We did a great topic. So we'll put our heads together for that.
We'll do that. That was Scott. I'm Jason. And as always, if you never know quite what to say, just have yourself some Liquid Kernedge.